Welcome back. Superintendents across the state are struggling with the shortage of substitute teachers. Joining us to talk about the reasons for the shortage and what's being done to deal with it is Fran Rabinowitz. She's the executive director of the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents. Fran, thanks for being with us. Is this a problem for many of your members around the state?
Absolutely, Eric. It is in all of our school districts in one way or the other, suburban, rural, and certainly in the urban districts. The shortage of substitute teachers is real.
So what do you look at for the causes? Is this a COVID thing? Is it something else? What has led to this problem for so many districts?
So let me explain a little bit of what I think has led to it. I do think it is certainly connected to COVID in that you have many retired educators that were more than willing to go back into the schools upon retirement. Missed children were happy to go back in and substitute. I think they're more wary about going back now because of the COVID issues. I think that's one cause. I think the second one is there are fewer candidates going through pre-service now than there were 5 years ago. There's another reason for the shortage. And there are large urban districts that have, and across the state, really, there has been some federal money that has come in that's allowed us to hire more interventionists for our students, which we absolutely need. But many times those are the newly graduated teachers that are willing to come in to be an interventionist in the hope that eventually they'll become a teacher. So that those were the candidates that many districts hired as substitutes. So for all of those reasons, we are seeing a shortage across the state, across the nation, actually.
Well, and I saw some news reports on some of the issues happening here in Connecticut. And one of the things I saw, you mentioned those interventionists and some of the other maybe paraprofessional type positions who are then having to be pulled to cover some of these classes. Because if the teacher's not there and they need a substitute, that may then tap some resources that could have been spent elsewhere. So these must be tough decisions for a lot of these superintendents.
I think they're very tough. I mean, there's nothing we have found through this pandemic that there's nothing more important than having a teacher, an in-person professional in front of our students. And trust me, superintendents are doing everything to make sure that that happens. But inevitably, I have spoken to superintendents where they've had to cancel a class at the high school or whatever. And it's a very difficult decision to do that.
One thing that we've seen pointed at as one of the possible reasons, and we heard this from a representative of CEA, the teachers union, saying that the pay has not gone up as much maybe as some of the other positions in the school, that it's generally a flat rate for a day rate for a substitute teacher. Are you hearing that? I mean, some districts I know have had to increase their pay to attract more candidates.
I think most are increasing their pay. I think that the pay is not where it needs to be for substitute teachers, to be quite honest with you. But I have felt that when I was a superintendent, I raised the pay, for example, in Bridgeport from 90 to 100 plus. And I don't believe that that's enough dollars. I think CEA is absolutely right. And I've talked to many and seen many superintendents who have tried to raise that salary as well. Of course, that can be an issue for districts that don't always have the resources to raise the substitute pay. I will say to you that I'm hopeful that when some of the college kids are home for vacation, I know it's a short-term fix, but I'm hoping that they will be more than willing to come in and substitute during, their extended vacation. I'm also hopeful the State Board of Education gave us some more flexibility yesterday at their meeting on using certified teachers in a broader range than is common. So that will help as well.
And certainly we've seen some school districts doing things like job fairs they had in Wethersfield just for subs. So certainly the efforts are being made to try to find those people. Fran, I want to switch gears a little bit. In this past week,
Sure.
We had some disturbing news from across the country of a school shooting, but also reports there was a knife incident in New Haven, a BB gun at Capitol Prep, a mock gun at Platt High School, a stabbing not far from Hamden. So the violence has been in the news related to schools. What are you hearing from the superintendents? Are they concerned about it, and how are they reacting to these reports?
Honestly, I'm so glad you're asking me about this, Eric, because yes, I have been on calls yesterday and today, probably talking to about 50 or 60 superintendents in the calls. And across the board, I would say they're really concerned about the mental health of the students, some of which is erupting into violent behavior. And the fact that, I mean, I heard wrenching stories today where they can't find placements for these children. They can't find beds in mental health facilities or hospitals to treat these children. And so we are banding together to try to come up with solutions. We can provide as much mental health intervention as we can, but we're not psychiatrists, and we can't do it alone. So generally speaking, I'm hearing concern. Yes.
Fran Rabinowitz from the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents. Fran, thank you so much for being with us on both those topics, important
You're so
ones
welcome.
indeed. Thank you.